and this was when I decided to stop taking it. I did not want to shoot this video. I did not want to read this stack, this journal entry. I was stuck in the web of my own lies. Well, it's been 4 months. 4 months since we had our big blow up. She walked out, came back a couple of weeks later, but 4 months. No connection, no reconciliation, no sex, no intimacy. And I just was taking it. And this was when I decided to stop taking it. My name is Kevin Ray Ward. I am the founder of Divorce to Victory. And I've been sharing in this series called Diary of a Divorce my actual journal entries from my journals when I was going through my divorce. I would do a journal on my iPad every day called Stack, and then I would print them and bind them. And this was how I got clarity. This was how I made through the process. But it was me unpacking all kinds of stuff, and I've been sharing them in the series. Today's is a very long entry at one of my darkest places and one of the most embarrassing things for me to share. I did not want to shoot this video. I did not want to read this stack, this journal entry, because it's got a lot of stuff in it that I'm very exposed. And but I also know this, that the only way through the pit of divorce is when you start telling the truth. And when you can face your own shit, you can face your shame, you can face your guilt, and face all the stuff that brought you to where you are and rise through it. So today I'm sharing the stack. I called it, my wife's name, It's Time to Move. But I think the subtitle is going to be To Divorce or Not to Divorce. That is the question. So I'm going to read this to you. As I read it, I'm going to take breaks through it and just kind of give what I think are some major takeaways that I'm just going to share through this. But it's a long reading. If you want to go deep and just experience this journey with me, here's what I want you to stick with me. You'll find yourself in this journey, and the lessons that I have learned are lessons that you can learn and benefit from as well. It's also a very intense conversation that I have with God, making some decisions. It's also where I talk about some of my past, some of the really darkest moments of my life, again, that I do not want to talk about, but I think it's helpful, and that's why I'm going to share it with you today. So, who or what are you stacking? My wife and me and our dead marriage. It has now been over 4 months since I removed my wife from our company, and we are no closer to reconciling today than we were 4 months ago. It is way past time for my wife to start working on getting over this and begin working on our marriage. The fact that this has caused her to completely and totally withdraw from our marriage reveals how little of a marriage we actually had, which is what I wanted with her, a wife, not a business partner. Describe your feelings: sadness, grief, anger, impatience, determination, longing, fear, and acceptance. I want God to know, God, how did I come to this? The one thing I didn't want to face is a marriage that is not on fire. The one thing I wanted probably as much as anything else in my life was to have a marriage on fire with the girl of my dreams. I was so sure that I had found that in my wife. And I'm still hopeful, but that hope has begun to fade. She has told me that she doesn't know if she will ever be able to get over this. We have done many weeks of therapy, and now we're having the deep conversations with each other. But I don't see any movement toward healing our marriage, much less toward building a whole marriage that was not dependent on us working together in business. I ask you, God, how did we come to this? But it was really a rhetorical question. I know how we came to this, at least in big part. It was me. It was her. I came into this relationship broken. She came into this relationship broken. And in that brokenness, we tried to find wholeness in each other. By the way, that doesn't work. You do not come into a marriage broken to find wholeness in another person. This idea of you complete me sounds great in movies, but it's not real life. Wholeness attracts wholeness, and it takes a whole man and a whole woman to have a whole relationship. And this is a big piece of this, that if you look at yourself and go like, man, I feel like I'm broken, I need a woman to make me not feel broken, you got to do some work on yourself before you ever need to be in a relationship. Okay? So now I'm going to continue reading. Going back, so this kind of like a backtracking, going back to when we found each other. I was ending my second marriage with my ex. You know how screwed up that was. After we divorced and she went out and screwed more people, literally and figuratively, she changed her name for the third time since we had met. I don't know who the fuck she is or was. She didn't know who the fuck she was, but it was a fucking shit show with really good sex much of the time. I was in a very dark place, isolated from you, still buried with guilt and shame for abandoning my daughters in Texas, still burning shit down, trying desperately to matter, trying desperately to be good enough, trying desperately to be happy in a marriage that was steeped in lies and bullshit. Being the bitch in my marriage, following everything my wife wanted, letting her run our real estate brokerage into the ground with irresponsible spending and lies. I did it again. Fuck. The very thing that burned our lives down in that marriage, and the very same time, the economic meltdown, I let her run the business with me, but it was bullshit. We were living on our partners and investors' money that they paid us every month to live on and to keep our 3 offices afloat. I allowed that. I knew all this was happening as the economy and housing market was burning to the ground around us. And every time she decided she wasn't happy, we moved. She conned our way into deals and luxury houses that we should never have been in. Corinth, Valley Ranch, Las Colinas, the only place we actually paid our rent the whole time. The new construction custom home in Colleyville, the 16 acres in Waxahachie, the place that I wanted to stay. The house in Fort Worth, the condo in Colleyville. Fuck, we fucked everybody. And then the last custom home in Colleyville, shit, we left a trail of lies and bullshit everywhere we went. And then she conned me into moving to Southern California. Now, moving to Southern California had been a dream for mine a long time, but she was like, we can make it work, and then we'll do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I went along, and it was not a good time to move. It was not a smart move to make at the time, but we did. No job, and I'm reading now. No job, a few coaching clients, and the dream, baby. I'll be happy in a tiny apartment, she said. Nope, she wanted a house. It was 2000. In 2009, we got a beautiful little house in Belmont Shore, 2 blocks from the beach. It was stupidly more than we could afford, but my wife made it happen. We liked it. It was nice. But I was gone every day. I had taken a job at a real estate brokerage as a manager, so I had a paycheck. Half my check every month went to taxes and back child support. My wife took over coaching our clients and burned that down. I was the one who had won all those clients, and she was the one who always lied to them. I found that out only 2 or 3 years later when I was talking to Sharon, one of the previous coaching members. I had talked to her, and she told me what happened. Everything in our life was build and burn. I was out of alignment with you, God, and living a lie. And I was preaching part-time on the side, which was great for the extra money, but there was still all the lies. We were fighting all the time, and then the separation. I'm staying with friends of ours in their guest house. And then I started to like my next wife, the one that I'm actually in the divorce pit with as I'm writing this journal. So I'm going back and telling the story of what had happened in the past. Another lady. I started liking the next one. I'd already separated from my second wife. Now we're already moving on. Another lady that might validate me and make me happy and whole. What the fuck? I was back in the hunt, not so much for a woman as for validation that I was a man. My first wife hated me. My kids disliked, my girls at best disliked me. I'd gone to California and essentially abandoned them. I justified it that my 2 oldest daughters already wouldn't see me, and it was only a matter of time before my youngest daughter followed suit. I was in a financial hole, and while we were building we had a multi-level marketing business. While we were building our multi-level marketing business, my wife had spent over $50,000 of my cousin's money ordering products that we used and sold to our downline. Suddenly, one night in our Valley Ranch house, my cousin calls us freaking out that all her money was gone, and we had been spending it for the last 6 months or something like that. My wife had run all the finances, and she ordered all these products. I had no idea this was happening, and now we've spent all of my cousin's inheritance money from her dad's passing. What the fuck? My wife claimed it was an honest mistake, so I backed her. What else could I do? I accepted her lie. Now we owed more money and we didn't have, and it was a disaster. All that debt, child support, arrearages, unpaid taxes, all of that came with me to California. And now I was making a little salary and trying to juggle all of it. We had a legal judgment filed against us from my cousin that basically said if we didn't pay her back as agreed every month, we would be charged with felony fraud or embezzlement or something. I was scared shitless. We agreed to the deal, and the pressure was enormous. Fuck, I was so fucked. My wife wanted to do other things. I went along with it. What was I supposed to do? Lead? That wasn't ever going to fucking happen. Big message, gentlemen. If you're in a marriage where things aren't right and they're toxic, it is your responsibility to address it, confront it, and fix it. You have to lead. And I would never lead. My first two marriages, I would never lead. In my third marriage, I wouldn't lead. I didn't start leading till way, way, way late in our marriage. And by the time I started trying to lead, it was like, she was like, what are you doing? All right. Everything I did was to please her or to survive. Lie, cheat, steal, whatever you want, babe. We joined a church. I was teaching again. All this happened. I'd gone from selling real estate to multi-level marketing to selling credit card machines to management. And then my wife forged a couple of signatures on a transaction and got caught by the broker. So my wife got canned. And so I followed her to another real estate brokerage. We were going to sell again as partners. Fuck, I hated everything I had become. A fraud, a liar, a poser, a fucking piece of shit. This just went on and on. And now we moved to Southern California. I decided to run again, divorce number 2. Like I said, this is not fun to relive your past, but my friend, you got to learn it from it, or it'll repeat the cycle over and over again. That's what I did. So, all right, so we moved to Southern California, Moved to Southern California, divorce number 2, severed all ties. Now with an added alimony payment, fuck, I'm fucked. And now I'm trying to make it with my next wife, which we're dating. Baggage? I don't have any baggage. I have a fucking garbage dump and a mass grave where all the lies and corpses were buried. I'm not a man. I'm a piece of shit who hated being a liar but was stuck in his own web of lies. Brothers, this is what happens. You start telling little lies, you start fudging, and then all of a sudden it's like the further you go with it, if I tell the truth, it's going to make it worse. So we wait, and it just gets worse and worse, and we compound it with more lies. And this is the result. I didn't like it. I hated it, but I was stuck in the web of my own lies. This is the reason I'm sharing this with you today, is because I want you to understand that until you're willing to own your truth, face your pain, face your bullshit, you're stuck, you're trapped. This is the only way out. I want God to know, well, at least my new girlfriend, who had later become my wife, was not a liar. She would not tell them and she would not buy my lies. She helped me face what a liar I had become. But she was also broken in her own way. She had come to America with a dream of playing music, and for some reason she opted for a marriage of convenience with some dude that was an American citizen. I guess she did that so she could get to America faster and easier. He was a car sales guy and a small business guy or something, and once they got married, it was not good. I think he lost a lot of her parents' money and had bad business deals with my wife going along as the supportive wife. Their marriage was never good, but they had a baby. And when they got a divorce, anyway, it's just, I'm not going to read all of this because some of it's personal about my ex's situation. So they got divorced. Then my wife, soon to be wife, married another dude who was a chiropractor and became a real estate agent with her as well. Seems like he was a lazy fuck and didn't do shit. He wouldn't work as a chiropractor or as a realtor. He just played video games all day. And so it was another marriage that was completely distant and detached, and she stayed there until we met. She isolated herself in both of those marriages. I don't blame her. And in both marriages, I think she tried to kind of be in business with both of them. I don't know if that was her idea or theirs, but it doesn't seem like it ever worked out too good. Take a lesson here, gentlemen. It's very, very complicating on your marriage when you bring her into your business with you, which is what I did. And she had been that in both of our first 2 marriages. She had been in their business with them. Pay attention. And so when we started dating, she was ending her second marriage as well. They never talked. They only fought. At least that was my impression. I don't think my wife was looking for a relationship at all when I started trying to win her. It was very difficult and rocky road for us because she had not had a good experience in her relationships with men, and I was loaded up with enough baggage to fill up a city dump. So we came together as two wounded people with lots of pain and disappointment in our past. I wanted to save her, just like I tried to save my second wife. I seem to be a sucker for people who I think need saving, but I know I can't save her or anyone else. Now, brother, you can't save her. You can't save a woman. You can't. This is one of the things that we do as men. We feel like when we have a woman, it validates us. And if we get a woman that has to be saved, it makes us feel like a savior, a hero. You can't save a woman. There's one savior, and it ain't you. And I tried to do this twice, 2 marriages. I went into a kind of rebound, but I was like, I needed somebody who needed me. And don't ever need a woman who needs you, because that is codependency and it is fucked. So, but I can't make someone else's life great. It just doesn't work that way. I can create my own life and create a circumstances of abundance and be a happy and complete person. And I can create a personal world of abundance that the right person can come into and experience that abundance. But if they're not happy, I don't know that even the perfect environment would never be enough for them to have a great life. It is very common for somebody to have abundance and still be miserable or unfulfilled. So again, when you're looking for the right queen, the right woman, you want somebody who's already content and happy with their life. If they're miserable, they're unfulfilled, unhappy, you're not going to solve that. You can't make them happy. You can't make them fulfilled. You can't make them not miserable. They chose that in their own circumstances, and you changing their circumstances is not going to change their attitude. Okay, there's a lot more here. I want God to know, God, it's crazy how we've always done everything together. Now I'm back talking about my current marriage that was on the rocks and going into the divorce pit. It's crazy how we've always done everything together. I think originally I did everything with her so that she would never have to worry about me being unfaithful. I also felt like it was the best way to protect our marriage and keep us close because we were always close together. But over the years, the intimacy and the affection and the romance and the sense of passion for our relationship seemed to be fading. For me, it was a very central and simple metric, and that is how often we were making love. Because when we were making love, it meant that she felt close to me, and so if we were making love often, it meant that she was feeling very close to me very often. When we weren't making love, it was not because I didn't want it, but it was because she didn't want it, which was always feedback that there was distance in our relationship. Again, sign of a marriage that is dying is when intimacy, connection, because it's connection first, intimacy tends to be second, and then affection, and then it's just like all goes away. So, and over the last 3 or 4 years, that is what we had experienced more and more, distance. Less sex, less intimacy, less affection, and now we're here. No affection, no attraction, no intimacy, no sex. And it's been that way for over 4 months. Our marriage is broken. The old marriage is broken beyond repair. I want to be with her. I want to have a great marriage. I want all of her. But she has put up this wall that I cannot break through, and I don't know how. I can't break through it. And even if I did, it is she who must be willing to return to me and our marriage. Dear God, what do I do? What do I do? I'm here finishing this totally exhausted. This battle inside of myself is exhausting. Give me the strength to rise and move as the king you have called me to be. Who am I? Who am I supposed to be? Who are you? One of my mentors posed this question. Who are you? And all I had was labels. Kevin, a man, a king, a prophet, a coach. What if all the labels were stripped away? Behind all of that, who am I? I am me. What does that mean? And that led me to think. I've been trying to find out what to do or how to be something, but these may be the wrong questions. The root question is, who am I? How do I answer that? How do I discover who I am? In that discovery may be all of the answers. It's exhausting to think about because it all comes back then to where I am right now. And right now I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to make my company profitable again. I'm trying to make my company grow again. Am I a whore for money? That's what one guy said yesterday. I'm trying to make my life work, which right now means making my marriage work, but I will not settle for a passionless, joyless, sexless, mediocre coexistence and call it a marriage. How do I push this forward? What decisions do I have to make? I'm listening for your guidance, God, with fear and trembling, but I will stand on the watchtower and listen. I know what we have right now in this marriage is not what you want for either one of us, right, God? God, of course not, my son, but your wife has chosen to not submit to me nor to seek me as you have done, me. So what does that mean, God? You want to heal this marriage because you believe in the covenant that you made before me when you promised to love her till death. She does not care about the covenant, only about how she feels in the marriage. And at this point, she does not feel anything towards you but hate and hurt. Me. She truly believes I betrayed her, doesn't she? God. Yes. Me. Because she only looks at it from her perspective and from her interest. God. That is right. Me. Is this her ego? God. Of course. You have always known her ego. Me. Yes, from the first time I met her as a real estate agent, she had to prove herself, and it bothered her a lot when she couldn't or didn't, until she felt she could depend on me and succeed with me, and her ego was satisfied in being a part of my success and my work. God, that's right. Me. Fuck, I see that now. This really had her all wrapped up in this, in her identity. This was who she thought she was. And when I removed her from the company, I destroyed that identity. God, yes, me. It's like the question that my mentor was asking me today. Who are you? What would my wife say if someone asked her, who are you? Everything she would have answered before, which was all just labels and roles, was stripped away when I made that change. God, yes, me. And now she's lost. God, she was already lost, my son. She was hiding in a role and believing that she knew who she was. Me. Was she happy? God. Happy is a twisted word with way too many meanings to define her. She was secure. She was not content because she was frustrated, as you were, by the lack of results. Me. And so she blamed me for not being all in. She never really considered that she had to take some of the responsibility for the lack of growth because I never placed on her the responsibility or expectation that she be responsible for our outcomes. God, yes, me. So how do I make her happy? Scratch that. I know I can't do that. How do I save our marriage? God, you can't save it, my son. I know your heart. I know this is what you want more than anything. You want to fix what is broken. You want to honor your vow and love her. You have done that and you are doing that, but you cannot fix this marriage because you cannot make her return with all her heart to you, me. So what do? Leave? God, you must choose. Me. Why won't you tell me what to do? God, because my ways are not your ways. Me. I don't understand what that means. God, my son, you are still trying to escape responsibility, the responsibility of a king. Kings must lead and decide and act. I give you my presence and my wisdom to follow your heart and choose your own path. My will can work along multiple paths as long as you are listening and surrendered. God, I will tell you this. Give her back to me. Let her go. She must find her way back to me and back to life. You, my son, cannot save her. You can love her, you can hope, but you cannot fix this, me. So it's okay for me to leave and separate? God, yes, me. I'm doing it for us, to give us a chance. If I can't save her, she needs to feel the aloneness so she can truly own her failure, and then she can decide if she wants to be with me or not. I'm still trying to save the marriage. I'm still like, what do I have to do? Do I have to leave? And God, yes, exactly. I know your heart. I also know that your love for her is fading as time passes. You cannot spend your life waiting to see what she does. You are my light. You are my prophet. The message of winning in life that you are to model to the world will not happen by you waiting. Right now, your message about having a great life in all domains is already undermined. You can't teach it with credibility because you haven't fully learned how to live it. You will never get it all perfectly. It is in the quest for it that you have credibility, not in the attainment of it. Me, wow. So you're saying I won't lose credibility or the power of my calling if I leave? God, you will lose nothing. Your credibility is not what others think about what you are doing or their opinion of who you are. Your credibility is about who you are. Listen to me carefully, my son. The only one besides me that you have to be true to is to yourself. All your true credibility will come from that and that alone. Everything else is lies or just opinions that mean nothing. Me. Okay, so now I have to decide how to move forward. And the sooner I decide and act, the faster I get past this place and out of this pit. God, yes, me. Shit, I don't want to decide. Decisions change everything. Life principle here, my friend. Decisions change everything. I know, okay, I'm in. God. But remember, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm letting you know that I am with you. Me. Okay. To do this, there is no reason to wait. Going to Whistler, we had a trip booked to Whistler with me and her daughter, my stepdaughter. I said, going to Whistler is only going to keep her in control where she thinks she can control me and hold me hostage with her anger and hurt, right? God, yes. Me. Okay, I'm not going to Whistler. I will tell her tonight or tomorrow and I'll cancel my flight. I'm sad, but this also means I need to find a home for my dog, doesn't it? God, yes. What about giving my wife the option of keeping him? God, it gives her control. Me. Fuck, I hate this. It makes me look bad. Getting a puppy that I talked about for so long and then changing course in just a few weeks. This is the chaos, my friend, when a marriage fails. But the thing is it's like you've got to move through it and then you've got to make sure it never happens again by changing how you show up and how you lead. And all this is getting exposed in my life right now. At this point in 2022, 3 years ago, is that all this was just like, it was just all blowing up. I said, should I give my wife the option of keeping our dog? He said, it gives her control. Fuck, I hate this. It makes me look bad getting a puppy that I talked about for so long and then changing course in just a few weeks. God, how long are you going to keep holding on to how you look to others? This will continue to keep you from rising. Forget what others think. Their opinions do not matter. Your submission to the calling is all that matters. You are enough. Probably need to rewind this 15 seconds and listen to that again for you. Me. I don't need a dog right now. My heart is sad and it makes me mad that the amount of time and money I wasted with a dog only to give him away. Okay, and I ended up keeping him. Still have him to this day. Leonidas is awesome. Love him. He's great. Okay, so I'm going to try to find him a home this weekend, and then I will spend the next week planning this moving out. My goal is to move forward with my life and hope that time will bring my wife back to me. If not, my heart will heal and I will move on and she will move on and be fine. God, I am with you, my son. Me. Please watch over me and her. Love her, Father. I know you do, but I'm giving her back to you, and I'm very sad that our marriage could be over. That was never what I wanted. God, I love you. I love your wife. Be at peace. Me. A singular lesson on life. I cannot make someone else be or do something just because it's what I want. And I cannot choose my course of action based on the opinions of others who have no peace in that direction or in that decision. Personal revelation. I have to let go of this marriage and my wife in order to have a chance to have a real marriage and a relationship with her. I've been trying to win her back and not upset her. And this has put her fully in control of me and the situation, which holds me back in everything I've been called to do. My work cannot move forward the way it needs to while I am waiting for her to decide the fate of our marriage. Final lesson, never sit there and wait for your wife to make the decisions. You lead. If you want to save it, fight to save it. If it's over, end it. You file, you move. Okay, all this does is gives her control. I must move forward and not wait. Immediate action steps. Cancel my trip to Whistler, find a home for my dog, find out about the availability of our Vegas home and plan dates, review our finances, and make financial preparations. I was making the decisions to move forward. I was like, I've got to move forward. It still took me another 2 months before I actually pulled the trigger, before I actually moved out and filed for a divorce. Still was trying to save it, still was trying to save it. But what was happening through all of this was I was waking up to the fact that the problem was that I had not been willing to lead in the relationship. My brother, you cannot be in a relationship and then keep it healthy if you are not willing to be the man and not willing to lead. Movement forward, motion heals what stagnation cannot. And staying sit there stuck in stagnation is where you get stuck in the pit and lose. So if you've enjoyed this, if this has been helpful for you, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Hope you subscribe to the channel, share this with other men who you may know that may need it. And if you're a high achieving man who has found yourself in this pit, and you know it and you hate it and you're like, how do I get out of this and make sure I never go here again? The one thing I have learned through my journey and through the deep personal work and mentorship that I did after this is I found a path. So you can go to divorcetovictory.com, watch free masterclass there, and if it's a fit and you're a high achieving man who's ready to rebuild and move on and start winning championships again, you can book a free call with me, and I look forward to talking to you there. So if this episode of Diary of a Divorce was powerful for you and you missed the first episode, click right here to watch the first episode. If you want to see the whole series, click right here. And if you are a man of faith and then you're in the divorce pit and you want to talk, click on the link in the description, divorcetovictory.com. Schedule a one-on-one breakthrough session with me and let's talk.